Oh.
Hello everyone, welcome to Quest Unplayed. I don't know what Anthony is eating.
I was hungry, I told you.
All right. Hello everyone, this is George. I'm the co-host of Quest Unplayed. Quest Unplayed is a podcast where three of us talk about anything game related and invites a lot of fun people. And today's quest is joined by Anthony, who is eating something.
Hey everyone.
What is he
Zach,
eating?
I have no idea.
Hi!
And we have another guest, Bossy.
Hello, I am Bossy.
All
Or Austin.
right. Or Austin.
Hello!
Yay!
Hey!
Thank you so much for coming. This one is going to be fun again. But before we actually start, this podcast is sponsored by Minimap, your ultimate gaming hub and a gaming companion app. You can sync your game accounts, make your own game collection, connect with other gamers in our community. And let's watch the video.
Can't wait for my noises. Small things.
Minimap, your ultimate gaming hub. All right. So, what did you think of that video, Austin?
It looked great. There was a comment on there that said Elden Ring is the best Souls game. The best Souls game is Bloodborne, but aside from that,
Okay.
looked great.
Okay. So 99% good.
See, if you got on Minimap, you could go in there and be like, actually,
Yeah.
have to be actually, it's Bloodborne. I don't want to hurt your feelings. The guy's like, yeah, I think it's Elden Ring.
All right. How is everyone doing? And Anthony has to tell us. Oh, he's gone. He had to clean stuff up, I guess. But I was
just
about
took him
to.
out.
I was about
took
to
him out.
ask. I was about to ask him like what he was eating.
And you just
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Oh.
God.
Wow, we lost you for a second, Anthony.
Yeah, it was your power. Your
Okay.
voice.
So what were you eating, Anthony?
What was I
What
eating?
wasn't he eating? You know what I mean?
I don't remember what I was eating.
Something.
Food.
Something Korean.
Oh, okay.
I'm jealous.
Did it have
me
bean
too.
paste in it?
No, it was like rice.
Ah,
Rice
That's pretty
cookie.
good. Okay, that's always good. So, how are you
People.
doing, Zach?
fantastic.
Fantastic. Okay. How about you, Austin?
Good. Very, very busy. I just had the exciting task of like scheduling stuff out for a month, and I need to clone myself like 3 times. Really fun stuff.
Yeah, sounds like usual dev stuff. They're always like, yeah, I wish I had like 3 hours of sleep every day. I wish that's. Do you ever get enough sleep?
I do. At a
Okay.
certain point, not because I want to, but my brain will stop working after enough work, and I just have
Of
to.
course.
Yeah, that
Oh
happens.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 1000%. It's like
Have you ever been developing your game and just passed out during it?
Ooh,
Just
pretty
woke up like code like this.
close. I got through grad school. I was becoming a pharmacist before being a game dev.
Wow.
And I figured out how to like spend all day every day just focusing on work, and I've carried that forward into a very different career path. So I laid the groundwork for myself,
Oof.
you could say.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, we actually have
You
to.
don't hear that much on here. Actually, the first.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, we'll have to listen a little bit more on that on our companion waypoint. But could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your game, Muffles Life Sentence?
Yeah, of course. So I am one of the two people associated with Bossy Pino. Krista does producer, marketing, community management, and then I make the game. Muffles came about from I basically was trying to make games, failed a lot of times, been wanting to make games forever. I tried making art for the first time. I've never made game art before making this game. And the first thing I made was this weird little dude who I've now named D. And that kind of set me off on this whole adventure of making this game. It's an RPG inspired by RPGs I love, like Paper Mario and Off and a lot of other RPG Maker RPG games. And there's a lot of myself in it, and it's weird and cool. And episode 3 just came out, and I'm working on episode 4.
That's awesome. I actually love the art style that you have here. Do you draw all the art, or do you?
I do, and people say they like it. I made this decision of like I'll give myself 3 colors. You know, I can if I give myself too many. What's the expression like? The expression actually in my head is a little morbid.
Palette?
I won't. What's that?
Too much palette? Colors?
Sure. Yeah, if I give myself too many colors, then I'm gonna spend all day trying to like craft the perfect little. But 3 colors, I can make something weird and stylish. And yeah, so maybe more colors the next game, but so far only 3.
What are the
Kind of.
colors?
It doesn't sound completely like it, but it kind of sounds like decision paralysis. You know.
Oh yeah, no limitations. If there's 2 things I love, it's critique and limitations. Makes me sound like a sadist, but I do love a nice narrow road for me to drive down.
Yeah. I think especially like for a lot of indie devs, they know they have all these, resources from outside, like, they can use whatever they want. They can expand their imagination, like infinite amount of like, universe, but then they have to realize, they have to decide on certain things and, have like a limited resources or else they'll spend like 10 years trying to make this one game.
Oh yeah. No, and it's constant, the ideas. And I tried making before Muffles many games, and at some point I just had to decide like making anything is better than having the best ideas you could think of, and then it doesn't, the scope's too big, or you spend half a year on it and it's not a fun game. So I really had to hold myself to making a product that people are actually going to like have fun playing. It's not just a thing in my head. And there's a expression I actually really like, I learned a few months ago, which is, it's a little hyperbolic, but ideas are kind of meaningless. It's all about execution. Ideas are important, but if you can't execute on the idea, which is what I love about Muffles, because it's so quick for me to get an idea up here and like put it in the game, because the palette is limited, because I know the engine so well. But yeah, I totally agree. Ideas are dangerous.
That's really good. I mean, I really like that.
This sounds like some authoritarian stuff going on there.
They
must not have any ideas.
Ideas!
They're all the enemy. They are
The
thinking.
common man. I'm not going to say things actually like that. I'm not going to gesture like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea.
I mean, at
So-
least, you know, it could be like, to the moon, Alice. You know, you never know. Just whatever.
Yes. So anyways, so are you ready to take the gamer type quiz? I think we should take the gamer type quiz.
I'm interested to see.
It's
So
the-
this
it's
is
It's the rave. Everybody
character
loves it.
class.
Uh,
I'm an alcoholic on most MMOs, so I'm very interested to see what this gives me.
Okay, let's see. This is kind of like a personality test for gamers. So let's see what you get. First question. It's finally the weekend after a long, tiring week. Do you ask a friend to play a video game together, or you need to spend quality time alone?
Time alone, please.
Okay. Next question. The new game just released isn't your type, but a friend is urging you to play with. It's not my cup of tea, so refuse at first, but it would be fun if you play together. Or do you listen to your friend's words and play together right away?
This sounds like my brother trying to convince me to like, play League or something. I will say, let's play together right away, and I'll just critique it off the bat and be not fun to play with. Yeah.
Maybe you never know if you might just like it.
You never know.
Yeah,
it's true. You never know.
Next question. You are thinking about joining a community with strict terms to get game information. From self-introduction to attendance check, that's too much. Or it has good game information, so getting ranked up after 3 days is not a problem.
Game information, like you think, like how to get better at the game?
Yeah, sure. Like any of the any information that's related to game that you can't find easily.
I am kind of a lone wolf. I think I would say, I'm just going to bang my head against the wall until I figure it out. So I'd go with the first one, probably.
Oh, okay.
He's hard to work with.
Next question. Before you buy a game, you carefully read over people's reviews, watch the trailer, check the price, or if the game looks interesting, you trust your instinct and make the purchase.
I like doing research. Let's get the first one.
What is the most recent game you bought?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I was going to buy, I play a lot of games with my siblings. I was going to buy Night Rain, but we're actually holding off. We're still playing Valheim. Have I bought anything recently? It's been a little while. Lots of stuff I've played, but mostly like demos and like the free Epic Store games. I don't know.
So what's the most recent game you play?
I've been playing Demon Souls. I really like. It's been a while since I got into a FromSoft game, so enjoying that.
Nice. Next question. If somebody's watching you play a game from behind, it's the perfect opportunity to show your amazing gameplay, or you're actually good at it, but due to the pressure, you are missing skill shots.
Again, from League of Legends experience, I'm probably going to crack under the pressure. Second one.
Okay. Next question. You are playing a newly released game for the first time. Rather than having regrets later on about missing something, you go over the tutorials, or the game seems to be similar to the one you've played before, so you skip the tutorial.
That's hard. Really depends on the kind of game. And I don't want to put it out there that people should be skipping tutorials.
Right.
Because sometimes I make them and I want people to watch them. So I'm going to say I do the tutorials because I do usually.
Yeah. And it feels like, these days tutorials are not like very like naturally well
integrated.
Integrated and blended into the game.
Yeah.
So like it's just, you just have to have it. You just have to play it. Next question. You're playing a mystery solving game. Based on your years of experience in mystery solving games, that guy is the culprit, or that person looks suspicious, but you need to start collecting evidence first.
Definitely collecting evidence first, because the person they want you to think, the person that looks suspicious, I mean, that's mystery ready number one. So I'd go with the second.
Yeah.
Gotta get that evidence.
I always say if it's too easy, there's a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm with you.
Next question. In order to equip the rune that increases defense by 0.01%, you have to return to the lobby. That's not a big difference. My friends are waiting, so I just go. Or do you tell them to wait? You go back to the lobby to equip the rune.
It's not a big difference.
Okay.
I just go.
All right. Next question. During gameplay, your companion's character has been bitten by a zombie. You might be able to find the cure, so you decide to accompany them, or everyone in your group can get infected, so you choose to kill them even though it is tragic.
I don't know. Depends on the group. How much do I like assuming I'm playing with a group that I like, I love a good character death. Let's say it's tragic, but I have to do them in. Second one.
Okay. Next question. Even if you don't express it, you feel like you keep losing because of your friend. You ask them if they're feeling well. You lift up your friend's spirits, or do you send them a link to the character's tips and tricks and suggest that gameplay?
I would do the first one. I would try to connect with them a little bit. I hope so. I have sent people guides before.
Okay.
Hopefully I'm not toxic.
And it feels like, a lot of games these days, it kind of just automatically like shows you like tips and tricks of a character's gameplay. Like if you start like dying a lot.
Especially like a competitive game.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It does. Next question. The character has bad performance, but the appearance is totally your type. Considering the balance of your party, you cannot put them in your party, or you have to put your favorite character in the party no matter the cost.
I don't know why I'm this way, but like aesthetics are super important to me. Less they have to like look good, but more they have to look right, like what's in my head. So I gotta put them in the party. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. Your current desktop is messy with tons of icons, but it does not affect your gameplay, or you hate chaotic things. Your desktop is neatly cleaned.
Neatly clean.
Next question. Before getting into the game, you search the internet just in case you end up missing achievements, or you have never played a game for the achievements.
I have never played a game for the achievements.
How about Muffles Life Sentence? How many achievements do you have for that game?
So every single episode that's come out, there's been one major bug associated with achievements every single time. I just fixed a big one. Luckily, I have some really great testers. There's about 30 achievements. I try to do like the 10-ish each episode. People
okay.
love them.
Okay.
I would not put them in if people didn't like them, but people do.
Did you get all of them, Zach? 30.
Negative, but I was happy. I got one. I think last night was the duck one. That one kind of cracked me up because it's just a random one. I just found a rubber ducky. I was like, okay,
Nice.
I'll take it.
All right.
So I think it's one of those things that when you get like an achievement that is fun like that, I like those ones more than some of them that have to bleed your fingers to get it.
I agree.
Yeah, like kill 20,000 monsters or something like that.
You're like 10,000 through, and you're like, this is not worth it.
Exactly.
Worst idea ever.
Last question. You, who happens to play a lot of games, you play a game that you feel like playing at the moment from your collection, or you have a gaming schedule on when to beat a certain game?
I'm gonna have to think about this because I am a dirty casual and I don't play enough games. But I think, I'm super boring. I love a good schedule.
Okay.
Let's get a schedule going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's see what you are. You are a quick-witted priest. A
Healer. Yes.
A high-ranking noble. Let's see some of the traits that are associated with this character. You don't like aggressive and competitive games. We are here to support each other. You play multiplayer, but it feels comfortable when you play single-player games. You like spending quality time going through every single content and event while playing a game. You are quick and perceptive. You try to mediate when people fight and stay peaceful. You are a priest for a reason. You get stressed out from managing peer-to-peer relationships. No one wants to play as a healer. I'll do it. Always yields in party plays. You're new to this game. Here, let me help you out.
It feels pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty decent. I don't get stressed out from peer-to-peer relationships, but I definitely love playing healers.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
Sweet. So you are good with trustworthy guardian is the Anthony is a trustworthy guardian. So you guys would have fun together while playing together, and you would hate to play with a dispassionate monarch. Yeah, and maybe you like games with beautiful graphic. Just a suggestion.
Cool.
Yay!
Hey, I mean, I don't think we have had a quick-witted priest that many times either. But
It's always fun when we get somebody who doesn't fall into the norms, I guess, or the normal ones. That everybody
Yeah.
usually gets.
Well, it's the same thing as no one wants to be a healer in any game.
that is true. I mean,
Are
I
there
like
any,
yeah.
I like healing.
Me
honestly.
too.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, Anthony?
No,
I
I'm
mean-
saying when you are playing an MMO game and you try to find a healer, you can never find a healer.
Yeah,
I
true.
think
But
sometimes I think the problem with that though is sometimes when you do have MMO games and you choose the healer route and you want to go solo, you're like, you can't heal the monster to death. You're like, die, and it's like I'm just feeling really good right now. Thanks, buddy. And so
Yeah.
that's one of them.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah,
But when
yeah.
I play Marvel Rivals and stuff, like I'll go healer, or when I play
well, that you have to because if you don't have a
MLBB,
healer,
I like to
you
do
won't be able
the
to
healer
move.
route or support.
yeah,
Yeah,
you always gonna need support in those kind of games.
true.
I just like working with the team. Okay.
Yeah. But then it feels like, a lot of MMOs, like in the beginning, like when you're like very low rank or level, it's really hard for you to go solo. But then like after a while, like you level up, like if you're in the like high ranking, everyone wants you. They're like, oh, can we have you in the party? Can we please have you in the party?
We need a healer.
Yeah.
You're like, did someone say healer?
It always happens.
I'm your guy.
Yay! Yeah, thank you so much for taking the gamer type quiz. Right, and I think we are ready to move on to the bulletin board waypoint. Is everyone ready?
I'm wearing my big boy pants.
All right. So the first news that we want to talk about is the marathon being developed by Bungie has been delayed again.
Shucks.
Yeah, they I think Austin, you mentioned this, but they said they would not delay it again, but then they delayed it.
Well, if I remember right, there was like a controversy with the art team because they figured out some of the art had been lifted from someone who didn't work at the studios.
yes,
so there's
I remember
controversy
that.
there.
Oh.
And then it was like, why is Bungie making an extraction shooter in a saturated market? It's had a troubled journey, but it seems like the devs really like that kind of game. It's just the fact that they're going into the market with like such a high price point for a game that normally would be like free to try.
$3.99. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, yeah. Sometimes you always wonder, like, because devs play whenever you meet developers, they always make this kind of game, but then when they do something that's out of the comfort shell, it's like, what? What are they doing?
I mean, but then sometimes you need that going out of your safe boundary because, for example, like, I think we talked about this, but Game Freak is making a horror game or some kind of adventure game other than Pokemon,
Yeah.
so that's another.
But
Crazy.
but the thing is, people are afraid that it's not going to turn out to be.
Yeah, you never know.
The
Yeah.
horror's already working. See, you're afraid.
But yeah, that is true. That is true.
Wow.
That is actually true. Wow, I didn't think about it that way.
We were making the horror the whole time.
Yeah, and
It's meta.
I think that's also a reason why like big studios would be interested in merging with another studio who is making games that are not in their comfort zone. Like they're either buying them or collaborating with them. I don't know sometimes. So that's why they probably do that rather than them taking all the risk to come up with this game that might not even work because that's not something they have been doing in the past.
I mean, I get it. I'd be bored after like they keep making Assassin's Creeds, and I'm not dissing Assassin's Creed. Nobody, calm down. I am kind of, but it just seems like it's always constantly like the same formula.
Yeah,
they just add
usually.
different people to it, and after a while, if I was a dev, I'd be like, Hey, great. Which one's this one? An astronaut? What are we doing? Like,
But then there are those who are in the fan base and have that fan group going, the community
yeah.
that wants
I mean, you
more.
totally understand it. Like, if the recipe fits, but then also there is some companies that they make the same thing so much that people are like, okay, like, skin kind of
So-
boring, big dog.
Remember when Bungie first did Destiny, and Destiny was a 10-year plan? That was the 10-year
Oh, yeah.
roadmap. It's been more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Has it been more than 10 years since the Destiny came
It
out?
has been more than 10 years.
Wow.
Oh, wait, yeah, it came out when I was in Alaska. Yeah,
And it's
Yeah.
still going.
that's surprising to me, honestly. No, it's not. Kind of is. I could say that I really fell out of love with the game when they went Destiny 2, when they started making it pay to play
Well,
and not.
with Destiny 2, it was a different team. Not the original
Yeah.
team. The original team was on Destiny 1, then they left.
I would have rather paid for a game and not have to do the whole pay for skins and stuff like that and just earn them through the game, to be honest with you. That's like kind of
Yeah.
annoying. Like, did you get enough whatever the money is on there to get this? And I'm like, I quit.
I mean, if it's just the costumes or skins, it doesn't really matter. If it does, as long as it doesn't affect your gameplay, then it's okay, I think. But
Well, there's
if it
some
starts-
things
yeah,
there's some things you can't do in that game if you don't pay.
yeah.
You can't. go to-
In that case, yeah, that's
In that case, you have to.
yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
why games like League or Overwatch, kind of, but like these games are kind of having a long period of life. Like they're still popular because they're only selling skins and stuff.
I mean, and League's a competitive game that you can play over and over again. And when you really like the character you're playing, and it's not going to really switch up on you buying a skin for it, like you're like,
Yeah.
oh, $10 for the skin is dope. And then you look around, you look at your money in your wallet, you look at the screen, you look at the money in your wallet, you're like, it's okay, I'll die someday. And so you buy the skin. You know what I mean? So I totally get it. It's the same with the game I play. I'm just like, oh, that skin's dope. How many diamonds in it? And you look, you're like, 15 diamonds. It's really cool. Okay,
I
okay.
wish every time you bought a skin, there was like a terms and conditions, and you have to sign off like, "I will die someday." Yes. Okay. Now here's my money.
Do you understand that you will die someday?
I'm like, you can't get refunds after you pass away. And you're like, okay. That's fine with me.
Just put in your will and testament.
I bequeath my skins to no.
Yeah. But I think I would rather pay a certain amount of money and then not have to worry about anything other, like microtransaction and all the gacha stuff. I would rather play that game.
And see that's one thing I used to love about Overwatch when it first came out, because I was an avid Overwatch player, but I actually somebody bought it for me. One of my people bought it for me. And as I was playing it, I was like, "Oh, this game's so much fun!" But I would have paid that $65 when it came out, just because, like, I felt like it would be cool to like unlock skins and stuff like that by doing things that in the game, like getting X amount of healing or being in this rank and stuff like that. Like, I love that stuff, but it's just like, oh, here's this because you paid for it. I'm like, cool, man. It's not fun to me.
Yeah.
I like to earn things. I'm weird.
I mean, earning things is not bad. That's a good thing.
It's just fun. It's like an achievement, but you get to wear it. I guess that's what I mean.
So another example is the most recent one. Was it Dune Awakening?
Mm-hmm.
They confirmed no microtransaction for the 10-year plan. That's they have a 10-year plan for that game.
But you never know.
No, but they said no.
Yeah.
It's actually true.
Did Conan have microtransactions? I didn't
They did.
play their previous
Every
game.
single
They did?
week.
Okay.
Every single week, the shop changes differently.
So they're telling the community, like, we're doing it different this time, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. A new approach. Everything you do, you earn inside the game.
Okay. I mean, we just because I know like some studios would say that, but then they will try their best to kind of do like a detour of it and try to make it. Oh, this is technically not charging anyone or something like that.
They are doing well. They have 170,000 concurrent player, the highest rate on Steam right now. For the past 2 weeks. So
that's good. Yeah, I mean,
except for a few games that didn't do well. My side.
Yeah. Oh, I actually did. Read the news on it. It didn't turn out as they planned it. Obviously, it wasn't the game that they advertised. So a lot of people are wanting to refund the game and stuff like that.
Oh, it was refunded already on PlayStation. PlayStation gave the full refund to anyone who wants to refund.
Yeah, so that was bad.
It was going through the Concord approach.
Oh, oof.
Nothing worse than the Concord approach.
Yeah. But then everybody forgot about that game when another game came out, an indie game called the Altar.
Yeah, the Altered.
And then everyone's like, "Oh, okay." They're all happy. Now,
wait, are they? Yeah, go ahead.
No, because the Altar did really well. It's like considered one of the best indie games so far that came out recently. So my side got really it went downward. It's supposed to be an indie game also, but with price tag of a AAA title.
How much was
the
it?
Altar, well, my side, $59.99.
I think it was
$69,
it's like $60. Oh shit!
And then the Altar came out, and the Altar was $39.99.
So quick question for Austin. When you are giving a price tag for your game, what's like the things that you consider? Like, do you compare to other games that are in the similar genre, or do you just make up your own price tag? Or
yeah, that's a great question, and my thoughts on it have changed a lot over the years. It's hard to so another big influence for Muffles is Undertale, and Undertale went on sale a couple months ago for $1. It's like, you can get Undertale for $1. How can I charge anything? But I think there's so many indie games that I love that are 2-3 hour experience for $8, $10, $12, and that feels totally fair. To know this, someone put a year, 2 years of their life, a lot of risk into something. Really good games are better than really good movies. At least for me, if it's the right game. And so the length of that experience isn't. There's just I guess a lot of factors that go into it. But for Muffles, because it's something that you can kind of pay as you play a little bit, I guess, because it's kind of episodic. I want it to be fairly. I didn't want you to how do I say this? If you're excited about the game, paying $4 for the next episode it probably isn't a huge deal if you really like the game. If you're kind of on the fence about it, then you're on the fence about it anyway. I think a drastically different price tag when it changed people's minds. So $4 per episode has felt right so far, and probably we'll have discounts and stuff when the full game comes out. But yeah.
That's funny because somebody who came by the stream last night was like, "Is this Deltarune?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "No," but yeah, it's.
I'll take that compliment.
That. Yeah, I was like, "No, it's not." But
I did.
But it reminded me a lot of the way you went about the episode thing. It reminded me a lot of Telltale, how they did their series, and I remember just wanting So of course I've wish listed all your stuff when it come out, and there's a couple of people that constantly come to my stream. They're like, are you going to be playing Muffles tonight? And I'm like, no, I got this other game to play. And they're like, well, we'll come back when you're playing Muffles. I'm like, fine. And so I remember when I was playing another stream, like, hey, Muffles 3's out. Are you going to play it? And I was like, I'll buy it after this, but I feel like I like the fact that it's an episodic thing, kind of. I don't know why, but you know what I mean.
It's a good approach.
I as a developer really like developing it kind of a chunk at a time. If I had to make the whole thing and wait to get feedback till the very end, oh god, that'd be so hard. It seems like people either really like that it's episodic and they kind of get to take the journey with me, sort of thing. Because I'm sitting here, I got ideas about episode 4. And I've kind of started working on it, but people talk to me about stuff, and like it drastically influences how the episodes come out. And I love that
That's
sort
kind
of
of
like,
cool, actually.
yeah, like if you told me some great idea right now, I'd probably steal it from you and been like, oh, that's going in episode 4. I did the gesture again. Oh no, I'm turning into someone that does that.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of an evolution, because I know a lot of the people that come to the streams are people from your Discord, and they always will say stuff in my streams. I'm like, did you tell the developer that you're in their Discord? And they're like, no. And I'm like, you should probably tell him. Like, it might help him out when he's making his game, if that's how you feel or whatever.
We have a very active Discord full of a bunch of, like me, wonderful and weird people. I was just gonna call them weird, but I don't want to. They're all.
It's not wrong. Weird to me is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, if it's used in a good way, yeah.
Different kind, certain kind of weird. There's weirds where I go, don't touch that. It's probably got rabies, but that's a whole different kind of weird,
Yeah.
Agreed.
It feels like, a lot of indie developers, especially like solo devs, they really appreciate these feedbacks and, having like you're making an input in giving ideas and stuff like that, especially like through Discord or any other channels, because they know they're on their own and they have no idea how the audiences will feel once they release this game. But then if they have any ideas or suggestions beforehand, they can probably apply that, or not fully apply it, but like, partially apply it. I don't know how they do it, but they could probably partially integrate it into the game when they are fixing it or updating or coming out with a sequel or DLC or whichever one it is.
I know that when I'm reviewing games too, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad, buddy.
No, you're good.
When I'm reviewing games, like, you're always constantly thinking, like if you really like a game, but there's just something about it, you're like, ugh, this one thing is like, and you're trying to like not make it sound like crappy, even though you do like the games, that one thing. I feel like that's one thing that is hard for some people, because they're like, they don't want to discourage the person, but at the same time, like, if I was making a game and somebody's like, hey, this really sucks, or this would be better, I would be like you. I'd be like, oh, what would be better? Say that again. Thanks. Yeah. I might put you in a credits. I don't know. Go away now. No, I'm sure. But yeah. What were you saying?
I think. Well, just to your point, I think that at least my journey has been like making 10 years worth of kind of crap. And then you start having you figure out like what things work for your patterns and how you can align with things that interest you. Like, I had lots of good ideas, but just no idea how to make a game. But no, I was going to say to the earlier point of like the sort of, what am I trying to say? With Muffles, a huge part of the process is the testing and getting feedback. Like the last episode, I think, was like 2.5 months of work, 3 months of work, and then a solid month of just testing before release. And that's for bugs and stuff, but it's a lot of like, hey, do you like this? Do you not like this? What were you expecting this? And a lot of great ideas come from the community I share. It's great.
That's super awesome.
That's super awesome. Yeah. So
That's true.
That was coming from Bungie delaying the marathon to all the way here. But anyways, so we hope, I don't know, like, it's one of the most anticipated games, right? As of right now, Marathon is probably in that.
Especially, they had play tests.
Yeah.
And it was not really good, was honest feedback, like you said.
Yeah, so they probably been getting a lot of QA team, or I don't know, testing team that'll.
I think there was another FPS that went into some sort of beta recently too, and it like blew them out of the water. I forget the name of it though.
Arc Raiders.
Yeah, I know nothing about Arc Raiders, but like they were kind of competing, and Arc Raiders went one way and Marathon went the other way.
Arc Raiders is going to be. It definitely did a really good job. The aesthetics and stuff of it too just have a really good color to it and feel like they got that old 80s just slapping things together look, you know what I mean? Or, as in the characters, like the gear they're wearing and stuff. So
also, I think they were in a longer development compared to Marathon. They were developing much longer and working on the project.
Makes sense.
I just think it's weird. There's so many looter shooters coming out.
It's a new
Well, that's
trend.
just me
That's how
though.
way it works. The
Yeah, I
trend
know. I get it, but I mean, it's been a thing for a while. You know what I mean? It's
it
just
is, but it's like one of those trends, like how it goes around a circle. How one becomes so popular, then it goes on to the next one and on to the next one, and then it just keeps going around in circle and circle. So
Yeah, it feels like, if there's like a trend set for the gaming industry, like, if a certain genre becomes popular, then other studios kind of follow, try to make something not better, but like different from that, but like in the same genre because they know that's going to be bringing in some money. And then
yeah,
it's going to circle around, and then people are like, oh my gosh, we have so many same genre games.
right.
And then they're like, move on to the next one.
Well, like
I
cause that, like yeah, because that's how it usually works.
I think too, like I could see sometimes I think it's about money, but I could also see somebody playing the game and they're like, this is cool, but I'd rather have this in this game. So let's make our own and like add this in there. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of
That's
times I'm playing
research.
games like this is pretty dope, but it could be doper. It could be a lot doper. So
And
let's make our own.
yeah, and motor.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I mean, because I mean, how many times you played a game and you're like, this is okay. I would have done this in here. You know what I mean? I'm sure as a developer, you do that quite a bit. Like, this is cool, but
All the
what if they
time.
would have went this way? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's great to do that in a way where it's not like you're saying the thing you'd make is better or worse even. It's just like this is how I would interpret whatever
Yeah.
it's trying to explore. It's
Yeah.
yeah, I love doing that.
Totally,
It's
totally.
great.
Yeah.
Or like if you're like, this would be more fun, or this is cool looking like this, but what if we made the visuals like this and switched up the gameplay like this? What would it be like? So it's just a constant evolution of thought.
And kind of to that point, something I love this trend, which is developers taking like they take learning lessons from these bigger games. They'll like focus on like one mechanic from like a AAA game, and then they turn that one mechanic into a whole game of its own. And then they just like
yeah, that's
they have
dope.
the scope really small, and then they can just like really flesh out that idea and do this kind of unique thing with it. Because not every game needs to be everything, but you can be playing GTA and be like, oh, this one little part I really
It's
like.
dope.
I'm gonna make a game from it.
And you make a whole
Yeah.
game from it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and also sometimes like I think Witcher, they made a whole different game for like Gwent, right? The card game that's inside of the mini game. So that way they also can kind of realize some of the mini games or some of the small events that they have in their AAA title might attract some users of its own. So that is also another point.
A game within a game.
Yeah, game within a game. Yeah, so I think we're enough of talking about Marathon. Let's just quickly talk about this one game that there's a studio called, what is it, Camellia? Or there's this one studio who had $300,000 for Kickstarters, and then they just shut down. Camellia was the name of the studio. So, I mean, they're the developer of Alzera Radiant Echoes.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the next turn-based JRPG game from an indie studio.
Yeah, but then they shut down. So if this
They shut down, and no one's getting their money back. Who helped out with the investment?
Yeah, that's it's like a dark side.
300,000 euros.
Oh, sorry. Did I say dollars? It was in euros. That's
Yeah,
more
it
than
was in
dollars,
euros.
right?
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah, at the moment, that's probably like maybe 350,000 US dollars or something.
Shoot. And they're not getting their money back. That's true.
Well, they can't because that's their that's Kickstarter policy. Once you put money onto a project, it's like an investment. They will do the project and they could do whatever, and then I guess if they don't do the project, I don't know what Kickstarter policy is, but I feel like if they don't do it, they'll get banned or something in the future, or get some law repercussion. I don't know.
I mean, $350 for a band, that's not too bad.
I think you could sue. I feel like you could sue if you wanted to. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's like that company. Remember that one company that stole all that money within one day and ran away and then shut down the game on Steam?
Are you talking about the game they what was it called, the day after or the day
after
before
or something?
Yeah.
And then they went and made another development team under a different name and started making another game.
They tried to.
They tried to.
Oh yeah, they tried to. Yeah.
What wasn't there like a factory game where they're like weird characters are trying to do like run a factory or something? I don't know.
I think they stole those assets from someone.
Yeah, probably. Austin, have you ever worked in like a bigger studio or any other like studio before, or is this like your first in studio?
A bit. I've also worked with a few different teams in the past, mostly hobbyist stuff. I felt like coming out of like the academic grad school med thing, I went hard the other way into degenerate solo indie dev life, because I know there's some really great studios out there that are bigger, and I love AAA games, but it didn't seem like a great kind of culture fit for me. A lot of those bigger studios, and I honestly don't have the credentials. Like I didn't go to school to be a game dev. So I think they're cool, and I love the kind of safety and security that people can get from working with a big studio. But tech is so hard. Like you work on a game, you bleed for it, you love it for a year, then you get laid off, and then you gotta. It's so tragic. It's been happening so much recently too. I don't know enough about the industry to like comment on that side of it, but it seems really hard from where I sit.
If it feels like it's almost like a trend in a way for like big AAA studios, just like have this whole team work on this one project and then finish the project, and then we don't have any job for you. Bye. Like
yeah,
That's
like
why...
you were talking about. Go for it.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, y'all were talking about like Destiny before. Like, imagine what that would be like as a dev to like work on Destiny and get to see over 10 years the growth of it and your investment actually like you're along with it with the players, and it's this whole thing. Like that is so few and far between, those experiences. I think the Concords are much more common, and you just Concord saw the public eye. Like people saw what that was. Usually the games just never, like no one ever sees them because they're worked on for a year and then they're what would you call it in the industry? Discontinued behind the scenes or whatever.
They stopped giving support to it or something.
Yeah, and maybe I'm being cynical. I don't know, but
no, you actually are hitting on a point that we have a lot of development teams come in, and we have a lot of them say that they love their team and how small it is because it makes it so that they can keep that team and then keep making games together, like Toge and Mint Rocket and stuff like that. So it's actually kind of nice to know that there's those small businesses out there that are making those games and sticking together, but they're also taking care of each other at the same times too. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like I think, doesn't Mint Rocket have one guy that just does the animations?
Yeah,
that's what he was saying. Just one guy just doing the sushi stuff.
All the cutscenes.
Like, hey, Dad, we got these 4 cutscenes. He's like, oh, okay,
cutscene guy.
The cutscene, I just see.
Hey, that cutscene's the biggest part of that game. One of the biggest parts.
And it's the most expensive too. Think about it.
Yeah, that's true. Like all those pixel art. Yeah.
You got a bunch of people here working on the characters and movements, and the guy's coding. They're like, what's he doing? He's like, I'm an artist. I'm building cutscenes. Going to town. They're like,
and it was very impressive that he did all the work by himself for the trailer for the Game Award too. Like the entire trailer was done by himself.
My trailer was fire too.
Yeah, by one person. So.
Yeah.
But so I guess I hope the studio, maybe I don't know, that it's like there's probably 0% of chance that studio is never gonna that you'll never hear from this studio that just got shut down after this one. But hopefully we don't.
Imagine you were working there and that was your first time and you actually were like just trying to be in the business. And then you go to hire somewhere else, and they're like, "Hey, so what other experience you have?" You're like, "This is my first time. I don't." Like, no other studios, huh? No.
The only downside of this is situation, because I know I'm one of the backers too. Is that
of course
you put a bad name for other indie devs in the future.
Yeah, that's very true.
People that, that consumers will lose their trust. Like, are you if we give you if we help you, are you sure you're not gonna run away without money on some beach, drinking like a glass of margarita?
That's the crazy thing, because I have a friend too that does the same thing. He does a lot of Kickstarters, not even just for video games, but like board games and stuff like that. And he gets stuff for it, but it's just like always in my head. I'm like, what if it doesn't happen? You know, like.
I think the sad thing is, there are definitely the stories of people that make out, with the 300K and they're on the beach somewhere. I think a lot of times it's they mismanage it. It's a couple of people who really love games and they just do not know how to run a business, which is totally fair. Running a business is a whole
other beast.
Kind of horrible thing you have to learn how to do if you're making a game.
Yeah.
But like that 300K is probably gone, spent somewhere. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know the studio. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost sadder in a way because now nothing comes of it. Just heartbreak.
No. It does that. It does break that trust in the gaming community. Like saying,
Right.
do I trust these indie developers who wants to start at something new and brand new and a new project? So that's the only downside.
That's bad. But yeah. So yeah. I mean, let's. We have to keep supporting the indie like developers like in the future too, so that we have these great things coming out. But obviously, stuff like this will only have backlashes and like.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing like this is what we do, like podcasts, doing interviews like that. This is how we support indie devs, but also keep the project alive for people to show that they still work on it. Because the studio that stole the 300,000K, they updated once and they kept quiet for months. No one heard from them for months.
That's really
so it's like one of those. So no one knows. Are they still working on it? We still haven't received any updates yet or information from Discord or community, like the stuff like that. But when you get like interaction with the developer, like every day, like talking about the game or stuff like that, they're like, they're still working. So they're building that trust.
Yeah.
So that is very true.
And that goes a long way. If you're vocal, like if you're, hey, sorry, community, this is going to take another month because these huge things came up. People understand.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, if you never say anything, then yeah.
Yeah. So
I liked at the end of your game. It was like, would you like to wish list the chapter 4? And I was like, yes, or episode 4. And then it's like, well, it's not done yet. So and I was like, oh.
I need to do that to make a store page.
But it really cracked me up because the character comes on and says your name on Steam. D does. And it's like, hey, would you like? And you're like, yeah, I would. And you're like, click on it. And it's like, well, it's too bad. And I was like, damn it.
So I think this is the perfect timing for to jump into the companion waypoint. We have been talking a lot about Muffles Life Sentence anyways, but let's watch the trailer together with sound and talk a little bit deeper into the game and Austin. Ready? My producer.
I love Murphy's Life Sentence. Oh, wow.
I love that sound effect.
Yeah.
So good.
Again. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Again.
I actually love the sound effect and the music, how it's like well blended. I love it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you do the music or was it?
Yes, I did all the music. I
Wow.
like writing music. Working on this game was kind of just an excuse for me to write a bunch of music, just a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that's one thing I
actually pretty
noticed.
Cool.
during combat. It's like, well, the game has music and all, but when the combat gets in, you're like, oh wow, okay. And then somebody came in. I think it was on chapter 1 or chapter 2, and they're like, yeah, he wrote all the music and he did it himself. And I was like, well, thank you. And they're like, you need some tips? I'm like, can I just play the game? Or because I was having a hard, part, and he's like, hey, you want a tip? And I was like, no.
Let's put no.
Well, I
That's it.
understand because the person's super passionate. You got to imagine how passionate someone is if they've beaten the game already, and then they go watch streamers play the game, and then tell them, "Hey, no, don't do that. You missed this." And you're like, "Calm down, guy. Let me experience the damn game."
It
Like,
comes from a place of love.
Yeah.
From a place
Calm
of love.
down.
Exactly.
It's 30-second delay.
yeah, no, and that's why it's like, you got to imagine how exciting that might be as probably a dev to have somebody that's that. Because that's not a one-time thing. There's been about 2 or 3 people that constantly come and are just like, "Hey, man, I'm in the Discord," and I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Like just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Like-
for me, one of the biggest thing is we've had so much amazing fan art. I don't know what it is, but just I love seeing, because my art, like, it works. I think it's all right, but like some people do these like crazy, like Menrick, the Discord user that made the Murphy's Life Sentence pull quote,
Yeah.
which I love. It's for some reason it just cracks me up. He made like a fully 3D, like he's done so many like D things. That like did a Smash Bros. Like now entering the arena, like with some really weird
That's
Aw.
awesome.
stuff.
what's cool though is you should see if you can get them to put it on your store page though too, because they have screenshots, artwork, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can test that on there. They got all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I should. I try to put that stuff up on social media whenever I can because people like seeing it. But I should try with Steam too. It's a good idea.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So how, like, you gotta tell us about the story of how you were studying something totally different and then you became a solo indie dev, or 2 people indie dev.
Sure. Yeah. No, I've liked making stuff for as long as I can remember. Like being a weird creative kid who lived in the middle of the woods. That's how I describe my upbringing. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I did the smart thing, went to school, college, grad school, the whole 9 yards. And there were parts of it I really liked and I was good at it. And just something in me some boxes were not checked. I didn't feel like truly fulfilled. And I was in residency in Wyoming. And I just told myself, like, if I ever get through this, like, I gotta take some time and just figure out how to like sustain my soul a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started making stuff, and I could never stop. I really, even though a lot of those early projects were failures, I learned so much from them and the people I worked with. And then I released a game before Muffles called Cryohazard on Steam, which is really me being like, okay, can I actually make something and release it and put it out there? And it turns out I could. It was really hard, and I had to make a lot of compromises and sacrifices and had to have a tight deadline, but I could do it. And then Muffles, I love weird RPGs, your Lisas, your Undertales, so many others too.
Did you just say Wyoming too?
I lived in Wyoming for a year for residency, for pharmacy.
Nice.
It was cool. I like snow. So
I'm from Wyoming, so that's why I was like, "Oh, Wyoming, where?" But keep going with your story. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. I was in Casper, Wyoming.
That's where I was born and raised.
Really? Do you know the next to the cemetery, like in the middle of town, there is a health kind of center for the homeless, and there's also the family medicine center up the road. I was riding my bike every day, working as a pharmacist for a year.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, that's well, when I was a kid, it was a different town. It's a lot different now, but yeah, that was my upbringing. The big blue mountains in the background every day.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so I grew up surrounded by trees, and so going to Casper was very different from how it looked in the trees and the fauna and all that. But it was cool to kind of connect
Pacific
back to that.
Northwest. Are you up in Oregon or Seattle?
Oregon.
Nice. Okay, that's a beautiful state.
I agree, and there's so many different kinds of beauty. It's like desert over here, and it's ocean over here, and I like it.
It's just pricey.
It sure is, but that's going to be anywhere up anywhere on the coast. I think it's going to be.
Yeah. But I'm sorry. Go back to your game. My bad. I do this sometimes.
No, you're all good. Yeah, and then I made a game. It's called Muffles. I had an idea of I always think it's weird in games when they have the protagonist that doesn't say anything. It's always such a weird like Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time. Link, he emotes a lot, making noises and expressions, but we never get his side of the story, which makes sense. You want to be able to project onto the character and all that. But I was like, what if there was a character that had no backstory? How can I have a protagonist that's literally faceless, nothing, blank slate? And so I made the most hideous little protagonist, who is Muffles. And then
I think that's one of the fun part of the game, though, too, is when you have to cycle through characters to talk, because you'll walk up and you click, and they're like, "So, what do you think of this?" He's like, "Rrr!" And they're like, You're like, "Oh yeah, you gotta go get one of the other guys out," and I think that's kind of funny to me. It's kind of dope, you know what I mean? Because he's like, "Rrr!" And they're like.
I get pretty desensitized to it because I've spent too much time with it, but sometimes I'll just sit there and watch someone playing, and then just Muffles just screams, and it's someone who has their mouth sewn shut, screaming at someone they don't know. It's horrifying. This car crash victim looking face. But that juxtaposition, I love contrasting games, that really horrifying next to the funny. Just really. I don't know. I guess that's my thing. I don't know.
And also you got the sarcastic answers, but you know that they're not going to get it. And it's did I hear you were sawing people's faces off? And you're like, well, just they don't know what you're just saying anyway, so it doesn't even matter. You're like, whatever. So
yeah, I really enjoyed in episode 1 writing. There's the eyeball guard, the Drakencrag guard in front of the tower, who constant through the kind of the security system tells you hey, go tell the guard, and they'll let you in, and then you come and see me, and I'm going to help you out. And you go up to the guard, and you can't say anything. And it's but wait, I was supposed to talk to him. I wrote that being oh yeah, the Muffles will talk to him, it'll be fine. And then I got to the point in the writing, I'm I guess I have to write something else because Muffles can't talk. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. And so that's a question I guess I have is one thing I've actually really enjoyed about the game is the complex character and the characters, especially how you develop them and how they join you on your party. But would you say that was one of the main facets of the game that you really want to bring out as a story? Because I feel like the story is what really shines through for me personally.
Yeah, I wanted to be a true RPG in the sense that there's combat, there's collectibles, there's a lot of these different elements that come together into kind of a cohesive gameplay experience. But I knew I'm working with a pretty limited palette, color wise and literally, in terms of the engine being a pretty simple engine, in terms of my art being pretty simple. And so I really leaned into, I love just writing weird characters, coming up with Odie and how do I have a character that just vomits incredibly personable details about their life without meaning to. I'll sew a bird into their face, and it actually kind of works somehow. I can't believe I pulled that off. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to working on future games as well, really leaning into story, but in a way where it's not like a visual novel. There's still compelling gameplay along the way. So yeah, story's incredibly important to me, for sure. Yeah.
So the game, how many episodes do you plan to have for the entire 5?
Plan is 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't say that. You're gonna keep
Don't worry.
making them forever. I'm sure.
He wants the
Are
he
you
wants
my
like the bonus
Discord?
episode.
DLC.
No, I'm just.
He wants the bonus episodes.
I'm looking at all the stuff behind him so I can get a map where he lives. We're gonna misery this. Like you're gonna make another chapter.
He's gonna lock you.
That's not even his move.
Yeah, I don't know what's
No,
up
it
there.
is a really good
dinosaurs
one of
apparently.
those games that you could definitely see episode after episode. So I do think when I finish it, I'll be a little sad, but I can understand.
I will be too.
Kind of, I can understand wanting to. If you're, I don't know, he plans on moving on to something different after this one. Yeah.
So with Muffles, the way it's gonna end, I'm not trying to tease or anything, but like it's gonna be a really particular ending. I got something really crazy in store in a way that it could open up possibilities for the future, but I also just got so many ideas. Like,
Yeah.
Muffles is my first like game that people like playing, and so maybe I can make a different, better game that people like playing.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to new things, and also I'll also be sad when Muffles ends. 5 feels like if there were if it wasn't released episodically, if it all came out at once, 5 episodes would feel like, okay, this is like a solid RPG experience, like front to back. You see this whole world, all these characters. I think 5 feels about right.
Do you think once? I mean, it wouldn't really need to be that big a deal, but do you ever think that maybe you would combine all of them and just release them on console at some time too, possibly? Like maybe like the Switch or something if they let you.
I would like to do that. Yes, there may or may not be plans about things like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's just because it reminds me, like I bought all the Undertales, like the Walking Deads, and of course the Wolf Among Us. And I remember when they released all of them in one chunk, I was like, rookies, already got. But I could definitely see that. It's like if you find it and then you're like, like just combine all of it and shoot it at people.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned Telltale earlier, and I really did like the Walking Dead games. They've been so like choice based as well, made it really interesting from like an episodic perspective and how they like kind of slot them together. There's been a lot of feedback in my community, people who really like the episodic thing, or they really are like, this looks great, I want to just wait till it's all done, because I think some people have gotten burnout from like early access and just testing people's half-baked games. No offense to early access devs. And I try really hard to make the episodes polished, but I also totally understand that someone doesn't want to like emotionally invest and then have to wait 4 months for me to.
That's true. That is true.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's why, like I said, I was literally on stream. I literally was like, okay, I'll buy chapter 4. And then it was like, it's not done yet. I was like, son of a, I even went to the store page. I'm like, you sure? Yeah. Damn it. You know what I mean? So it's understandable.
Yeah, and it feels like early access games has become kind of like a marketing strategy for some studios, obviously, but like on the other hand, some gamers, like Austin said, like are always like, why do I have to pay this amount of money and then play like not fully polished game and then wait until I don't know how long it's gonna take and
not only that, but play test it for you.
Exactly. It's kind of like playtesting for you too.
I'm buying the game early. I'm play testing it for you, and it's not where it's at. There's actually a lot of games where you'll see on Steam too that'll actually have in the thing like it's like a negative review or whatever, but it's only like negative because they're like I give it a positive review if it was more polished, but it's not there yet, and so I don't think they should have released the game. Which that's just somebody's opinion. So it's
that is also a risk when it comes to early access if you think about it, because you could start with negative reviews and then come up with positive reviews slowly, but
it'll stay mixed.
It still stay mixed. That's a problem.
And so I don't know how many games I'm like, this looks really good mixed, so I'll have to go through and see if it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that's the problem.
Yeah. It's almost like a risk too for the studios.
I could understand like if you release it and then you make the beta or the access the early access like cheaper than what it would be if it was a 1.0 or whatever like that.
Usually they are. Usually they are.
Yeah. They should be
Yeah.
more often, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. But if it was like, it's gonna be the same price at launch, I definitely gonna like. It's like buying the Switch right away or wait until it drops some price and all the glitches are worked out. You know what I'm saying, Anthony? Right?
What glitches? I have no glitches.
I'm still waiting for my Switch 2, by the way. I've been checking the mail.
Did you? This is totally side story. But did you hear about somebody hijacked a truck full of Switch 2?
Oh. Oh, they
It
would.
happened today. It was
Oh.
a truck heading to GameStop, and 2,872 Switch 2 was stolen from that truck.
Wow.
I'd watch that
Picture,
movie.
like, someone like driving up with like a Mario Kart vehicle by the truck, throw out a
Jason.
green shell.
Yeah. Jason Statham and Nintendo Switch heist.
Oh god.
Da-da-da.
Yeah.
And so with the game too, I know you really kind of went basic on the art and stuff, but I gotta say that's kind of one of the things that I don't know why I'm always attracted to games like that. Did you get any feedback from people who really actually kind of like the where you went with the pixel and the art?
Yeah, a lot of people like it. Actually, I think because I give myself such a limited palette, and like I think most of the character portraits are like 72 by 72 pixels.
Mhm.
I'm painstaking over every single pixel. Like if you look at like Half Croc's face, like I have stared at every single one of those pixels and been like, should it be black? Should it be white? Should it be
Mhm.
transparent? Those are the only three options. And get it. So I get it pretty good for what it is. And people, I think that's really why I like seeing the fan art, because then someone sees Half Croc and they're like, oh, in my head, this is what they look like. And then they have this
Mhm.
amazing, like something I could never do. And it makes me, it's so inspiring to like people who, and it's not just that they interpret it in a way and you're like, oh, that's very cool. I look at it, I'm like, that's what's in my head too. You
Yeah.
made it. And it's how did you do that? It's so cool.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
super dope. And honestly, is when I was playing it too, just because of how good the story was, and just because the story to me is just like when you actually sit down and think about like this guy went to prison, he's got no face, and this is like this weird prison like world, and he's like carving up people's faces and putting them on, and then also these people are living in his head. You know what I mean? Just the whole dynamic of it and all the different like the different characters like D and stuff like that. And I was like, this could be an anime. I know that sounds super basic, but not like the cheesy type anime, but this could definitely be like one of those animated shows, and you're just like, this is nuts. You know what I mean? Like I would watch it, to be honest with you. Just because I'm like, what is happening right now? But I love it.
One of those
I don't know.
old school animes.
Yeah, just like it would have to be like a certain look, but just because the story is so good, I could see that as something you just sit down and watch. You know, it's just crazy to me. I don't know if that was a question or not.
I'm not super familiar with a lot of anime. I have like a short list of what I've watched, but I could definitely see like I would love to work on something else as well that's kind of like that kind of pacing. Like, you know, that moment in like an anime or like a show when like a new character is announced and you know they're like a big deal, and there's kind of like the spotlight is shown on them for a little bit, and then they kind of become integrated with everyone else. That definitely is something that lives in my head in terms of like giving a character a moment and then figuring out how they fit in the rest of the how it all fits together. So yeah, I think I get what you're saying.
You put a lot of, I mean, I feel like you put a lot of that in some of the characters in the game too, right? Like, I know when you fight that one guy at the end, I don't want to do any spoilers in case anybody hasn't seen it yet, but like the music and the ambient, the whole spectacle and everything like that. Like you can definitely feel it's supposed to be like a battle, like a big time battle. You know what I mean? And I feel like you do that with like all the main characters, the main battles.
I do love writing villains. So like every episode has kind of had like the showdown with the villain at the end, but I don't like writing. So it's like Shatter and Jack, and then question mark for episode 3. But like I want the villain to die, and I want you to be like, no, I actually like them. I realized, especially with Shatter, because Shatter ends up being someone you can kind of empathize with by the end of episode 1. At least I can. I like
There's
the big
actually
spectacle.
I would say a lot of the bad guys actually you actually kind of like can side with, even the the last one, like you kind of feel for him, as you're murking him.
Yeah, especially the other character that you're with has mixed feelings about the fact you're cutting down this person. Yeah, and it's a little bit at the very, very end of episode 3. I kind of tease this out with Twinkle, but this idea of like, yeah, this guy's going around killing all these people. Who's the bad guy here? Like, is no one good?
Yeah.
We're in prison. Bad things happen. Am I making social commentary? Is this just weird video game stuff? I'm not answering any questions. I don't know either.
I do gotta ask though. It's kind of fun too, but I gotta ask, why trolley?
I'm debating how blatant to be. Because I love the game Off, and Off has a trolley.
Okay.
I just stole it from Off. I love Off. I didn't steal a lot from Off. Well, not a lot, but the trolley.
You stole some. It's okay. That's
borrowed, creatively inspired.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be rare to see a game that doesn't have some creative mix of other games. It's just like movies.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like movies.
I think all these creative games out there are basically inspiring each other in a way. Like your game is probably going to be inspiring some other game that's going to come out later. So just a common thing.
So
I really hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, is this like I feel like your game did pretty well so far. Do you feel like it's doing pretty well compared to what you thought it was going to do when you've been releasing it? Like, is this met your expectations or?
Good question. I would say yes and no. So it's kind of like going back to the idea of like, you're running a business and making a game and a million other things, wearing all the hats. So I have to look at it from all those different perspectives. And when I look at it from, I'll do the less fun one first. So just from the businessy perspective, my goal is to be able to make something and do something that lets me keep doing this thing, right? I want to be able to acquire enough funding and resources and whatnot that I can keep making games. And then that kind of snowballs, and over time you're able to make bigger and better things. And I'm not at that point yet. Not even close, really. But I'm working on it and I'm getting there. And I think, a lot of the feedback I've heard with Muffles is like, if there were more eyes on it, then it could find its audience a little bit better. And I'm got some things cooking on that front. But from the other side, in terms of like making something that's fun, that people like, that people are like emotionally invested in, and that I can it's been incredibly successful. Like at the Discord's come up like 10 times. Like there are some very passionate people in our Discord, and I do not take that for granted at all. I love interacting with them, and they go out and like find streamers and like, hey, play this game
and harass us.
Yes, I don't ask them to.
You're like, you want a tip? I'm like, can I just play the game? But I can understand why they get like very excited.
It comes from
like,
love.
Yeah, that's like that's because I'm not gonna lie, I really like the game a lot. So when I was enjoying the game and just been like, yeah, I can definitely dig this, and somebody comes in, they're like, yeah, and I love it when they come. It's weird because you would think as somebody who makes content they wouldn't like that, but I love it when they come and they go, oh, you're not playing that game? All right, well, I'll come back when you're playing that game. And you're like, all right, buddy. Well, see you later. I'm sorry. That to me just tells you kind of like, they're like, oh, you're playing it. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll be back. And you're like, sorry, my buddy. When 4 comes out, we'll join again.
Since you said you've enjoyed playing the game, I have to ask: is there anything you'd want in episode 4 Are you like, you reach episode 3 and you're like, oh, like a card that did this or a character that did that? Anything
This
that
is
came to mind?
a live feedback.
Well,
play testing.
that's hard because the way I enjoy games, I dive into them and I just experience them. So I know it sounds really weird, but when I do some doing some games I play, I definitely have like, oh, this could have been better. You know what I mean? Or some criticism. But a lot of times, and especially with movies, like I think the reason why I like games like yours so much and other indie games is because the story is just so good that it just pulls me in and I kind of like get lost in the sauce, right? I think the one thing I'm expecting from 4, besides the different scenery and different baddies, I guess, would be another thing too. I think the only thing in 3 I was kind of like what about was like the little tree eyeballs, the little round eyeballs of the tree. I'm like, what am I beating up right now? But I understand it was in the dark. You know what I mean? But I think the one thing that I kind of just want to see, besides episode 4 coming out, is just more characters that not necessarily like a ton of them, but just more like, of course, developing the characters you already have, but more awesome characters that you can fall in love with. And just maybe like, I liked how you've gone from like a prison-ish like island to a cowboy setting to a place that's a woods. And then, now we're going to be going to wherever the next place is. I like that it just keeps changing the biome as well. Honestly too, it's like I just look forward to a whole new set of characters and interactions and just seeing where the story goes, to be 100% honest with you, and more color palettes, of course. And that to me is just when I'm deep diving into it. I know that I'm a huge card battler, but I haven't had really any issues with your card battling yet. Not really. I felt like I've been doing okay with it. I've lost a couple of them where I was like, okay, we got to switch it up a little bit, right? Like, oh, God dang it. Or I wasn't paying attention and your music got me jamming. So I was like, oh, wait, I'm dying. Oh damn it. Definitely, because I'm just like, this is good. Like, I just don't even want to end the fight. I'm just like jamming out, right? And so I was like, oh, and of course, the music, of course, is one thing that I can definitely see. I'm always excited to hear what you add to the music and everything. I don't know. Just beyond that, just kind of just excited to see what you come out with next. I don't want to spill too much into the sea. Maybe a janitor named Bob. If you ever find that time, I tell that to every dev.
Done.
I tell that.
Done.
I tell that to another dev because he had a game where like everybody was getting murdered, right? And it was just blood everywhere. And for some reason, I'm always like, who's cleaned up all this blood? Like, I just want to see one random guy. It's dangerous as hell. Someone's gonna. He somehow is escaping being murdered by whatever's there, killing everybody. He's like, oh man, don't go in there. It's just mopping. He's like, it's a rough day, man. There's blood everywhere. Someone backed up the toilet on 5. I'm just whatever. I just always want to. I just think it's always funny to have something in there where some guy's just oblivious to everything's going on. You're like, how's that? How's the guy still alive? He's just like, hey. What were you gonna say, Anthony? I'm sorry.
No, because it's funny how you said that. Because it'd be like that one character that everyone's like, "Who's this character? What's this guy doing here?"
Why is he? Is he even a part of the story? Like, you talk to him and he's like, tells you some stuff and it has nothing to do with the story. And he just goes back to work and you're like,
just for fun.
Yeah,
he's there just for fun.
There's just blood everywhere, body parts, and
they just come mopping in. Like what? Like right in the middle of the fight.
He's like, I don't want to die. And he's just like, yeah, it's a rough one. I don't know if you should go in there, man. This is bad. It's real bad. Like, he's like picking heads up and putting them in trash bags. He's like, this is my work. It's what I do. I'm just
I gotta make a living.
Y'all are having fun, but I'm taking this all in. I'm going to steal all this.
Go for it.
That's how my brain works.
You can
have everything.
No.
I actually, like I really did when I played the first chapter game, because your game, like a lot of the kind of games I play, are very similar to your type game, I guess you could say. I told him right away, I was like, hey, see if we can get this guy on, because I did it with another game, and he tried and it didn't work out. But when he told me, he's like, yeah, he's coming. I was like, what? I was like all excited, like a schoolgirl. Just I was running around the house, literally wearing a schoolroom outfit, like yay! Then I changed back into this because I'm cool like that. No, but I definitely like it. Like it's going to be pretty cool. More cards, I guess too. More battle techniques. I've been kind of running with the same deck. I'm not gonna lie to you. Until I got to what's her name, the wolf, Cooney.
Yeah.
Cooney. Yeah, I don't know. I keep saying it wrong.
The fight with the guards.
I kept saying what's his name wrong too. Ugo. I was saying
Ugo's
Ugo.
right.
I don't know why I was trying to make it sound all fancy. I was like Ugo, and somebody's like it's Ugo, and I was like,
I have never approved any pronunciations of anything. So as far as I'm concerned, nothing's canonical. When
it made sense after I said Ugo because someone's like, I think it's Ugo, and I was like, because he gets offended. He's like, I wish you wouldn't call me that, and I was like, why are they offended? And then I was like, wait a minute, he's calling him ugly. That's why. Like, this is pretty messed up. But at first I was like, Ugo is not a bad name. And that's just, I think people just have a really good time with going, is this guy reading it right? Like,
it's funny.
Yeah.
So, do you have any plans of like when the next episode is going to be released, or do you have like a schedule, or is it can it be announced, or is it something like we just have to wait?
I mean, if anyone's watching who's kind of followed along with the cadence of the previous episodes, I'm shooting for something similar. I tend to work really quick because I am obsessed with Muffles Life Sentence. But there's going to be more stuff in this episode than any. I mean, I'm like, you might have seen episode 3 has a lot more than episode 2, and 2 a lot more than episode 1. And I keep getting more ambitious and learning stuff. So soon, whatever that means.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Soon.
Yeah, and for anyone that wants to like keep, I post a lot, a bunch of different places about like development, like how far along I am, new characters and stuff. So if someone's wondering, like, is that being worked on? Like, I'm working on it.
Follow.
I'll have to do that. I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but
I think I've already done it. But yeah, so you two should also join the Discord channel as well then.
But every time I stream it, I put you on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. So hopefully, and a lot of people on TikTok actually asked me about your game. That's actually where I got the Undertale comment.
Really?
And they're like, "Is this Undertale?" And I was like, "No." Or
TikTok is getting more popular. Like you could get like more trends on TikTok.
It's the number 2 streaming site right now, live streaming site. So
what is number 1?
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, but TikTok is definitely one where you could get the information. Like, let's say you watch a certain game that you like, they always recommend the same game.
It's one of those games it's one of those platforms. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, Anthony. I think the reason why it's so popular though is because it's one of those things, and I think what Twitch has kind of missed out on is the fact that you can just keep swiping up and a live will pop up every once in a while. So if it's something, if you're like really into indie games and stuff like that, like I am, I'll be swiping up and every once in a while I'm like, hey, someone's playing Undertale. Like, they don't really have a very good indie section. It's called retro gaming there. But there's definitely people who play older games and stuff like that. And like when you play Muffles Life Sentence, it definitely looks like an older, like Nintendo type-ish game. So people are like, oh, what is this? And I was like, funny you ask. It's actually a game about a dude who's carving people's faces off. And then they go inside of his head, which is the best part. I think that's one thing that is pretty cool is trying to get. I personally, that's why my channel even exists, is just because I love indie gaming so much, and the developers having the chance to work with my 2 buddies here and meet indie devs makes you really root for indie devs more. So it's just constantly like,
me too.
Shove it into people's faces, like, you eat it, and they're like, no, you're like, eat it. So every time I play your game, and people are like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's free. The first chapter's free, or the episode. I'm sorry. It's like the first episode's free. Go check it out because if you don't like it, you won't play second chapter or the episode or the third episode. So
that's true.
I think that's a pretty savvy technique, to be honest with you. Like, here's a taste. leave it on a cliff note. It's like, do you want to find out what happens in 2? And people are like, I do. And then they pop that $4, which is, I mean, come on, man. Spend that on energy drinks in one day.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like less than a cup of coffee.
You're like, hey,
Sometimes.
do I want to spend $4 on this sweet game that's going to be like maybe 2-3 hours and it's got great story, or a bottle of soda? Like it's a give. You know, I'll buy both. But
You mentioned like the people having to decide, like, do I want to, like, it's a free first episode, people will try it, some people will fall off. I sometimes wonder, like, the scene at the very beginning where like D is going through all the keys and just going no, no,
yeah,
oh no. Like, I wonder how many people
are
are
like,
lost just in that one scene.
yeah. Well, I think too, though, you got to have D like that, because D literally, yeah, it's D.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good thing he can't die. That's really nice, because he's done some
So
extremely
far.
stupid things. Well, if he can't die now, if there's something else that could kill him, maybe acid, I don't know, but having his head chopped off and shoving keys through his head, and you're like, but he's definitely fun to have on the journey, just because he's just like, from the get-go, he's just like super optimistic, and he's like, hey, Ruby, you're like, and he keeps talking about the guy that he had before him and how sad he is he's gone. You're like, this guy's a weirdo, but it makes it fun, because you think about a game about being in prison, it would be like, you know, sad, but then there's all these like funny characters, and that make it like a good time, you know. And D's one of them.
What are you talking about, Muffles? This is a sad game. There's people dying every other second, and murders, and there's sabotage, and
Listen, if someone goes
plots.
out and I laugh because of it, at least they went out giving someone some happiness, you know.
probably
It was like, oh, you died.
Yeah.
Thanks for the laughs. No, I'm just kidding. But no. Go
I
ahead.
think it's kind of like time to wrap up things. It's been
You
a
can't
long
go. Get the
journey.
block. Get the sledgehammer.
The sledgehammer.
It's a sledgehammer.
It's an old movie called Misery.
Oh,
This lady really loves the guy. Writes this. It's a Stephen King novel.
Stephen
where-
King.
Yeah, she loves this. She loves this novelist so much, and he crashes and gets in her house.
yeah.
And instead of letting him go, she's like breaking his legs and stuff, and like, you're gonna make the next book. And he's like, I just want to go home. Like he's like, dear God. And she's
Yeah.
like cracking his body and stuff. So that was the joke at the beginning. I said, you know, you'll never stop making these episodes. Like, it was supposed to be a Kathy Bates joke. My bad.
Thank you for
I'm
the
not really
joke.
threatening you, I promise. There's this running thing with George thinking I'm taking out all these devs, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I
And the
let them
white
go
van.
after a
Because
while.
we never hear back from them. I'm like, I'm just kidding. But yeah, thank you so much for coming, Austin. We would love to see how episode 4 is going to turn out, and 5, like you said, you planned. And if you're listening to this or watching, if you haven't played it, the first episode is free, totally free. So go play it, and if you like it, like everyone is saying, just, you know, buy the second episode and third one. You'll probably love it more because they have more content and more story and stuff like that. So go play the game. It's for free. And
It's,
yeah.
It's one of those games. I definitely drop everything else I'm doing to start that episode the minute it comes out. So, you know,
Yes. Go
I
for
feel
it.
like much love. I feel like if you're like Deltarune and Undertale, and there's a couple of them I'm missing that remind me of your game too as well. Like, I feel like you're gonna love this game. Binding of Isaac, even though it's not the same thing, but kind of. Where you run around using tears to kill people.
Yeah. Before we go, do you have anything you want to say, Austin, to the fans or the people who are watching or listening?
That's such a good question. I should have something prepared. No. Thank you to everyone watching. I love the community that has been kind of built around me. Y'all are great. I'm gonna keep making cool stuff. Hopefully people keep liking it. And thank you all you 3 here today for inviting me on. I had a lot of fun talking with y'all about topical things and my game. And I would love to, talk again once episode 4 comes out.
Yeah.
It's like we're saying that how important it is to like have indie like devs on your show to like learn about the indie experience and like value. Like I need y'all, absolutely. Like people in my Discord, people like y'all getting the news out there, enjoying the game. Like I'd be nowhere if it weren't for y'all. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's why we do this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe we should invite you again when you have episodes 4 or 5.
And 5 and 6 and 7
and 8.
and 8
Yeah.
and 9
and 10.
I gotta make other games that have more than 3 colors in them.
I was waiting for you to go. I gotta spread my wings. Well, I know we're leaving and we already talked, but is there ever a thought that maybe you're 2 people now that you would ever try to get someone to make it to where you can? I know you're probably need the money for it, but to make a bigger project.
Definitely. The way I wouldn't build a studio and then try to make a game. I would figure out what game I need to have a studio to make and know it's a really good game. Like have the right idea, the right project. But yeah, no, if I was like, oh, this is what I want to dedicate the next X number of months or years to, and it took a bigger group of people, I could figure that out. It would be hard, but yeah, maybe someday. Who knows?
All right. Thank you. Thanks for coming, and thanks for coming, everyone. We had another fun podcast, and I'll see you 2 next week, and probably see you on our Discord. But Austin, we'll probably all join. I mean, I'm already in your Discord anyway, but we'll all join your Discord, and also join Minimap Discord as well. I'll just give you an invite. So thank you for coming, everyone. Have fun and go play Muffles Life Sentence now.
Yeah.
Now.
Or all misery.
It's free.
I'm looking at you. No, I'm just joking.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Showing up to people's houses, like door to door. Just like if you played Muffles, you're like, no, like.
You're like one of those salesperson. Like knock knock.
What a great marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Turn your Steam on now. They're like, I don't have Steam. That's it. Come with me.
Driving a white van around.